you don't want to fuck with her, but you also want to go with. She's gonna tell you like it is, and you want advice from her. Like,
hello, friend.
Hi, how are you?
Oh my gosh, I'm so good. I was trying not to watch the second episode because
I know
I'm a little bit obsessed.
I'm a lot obsessed. Like a
Okay, you
lot.
guys. Yes, we're talking about the Real Housewives of Rhode
Rhode
Island.
Island.
And this is such a big deal because I have never seen the first season, first episode of a show. And then the fact that the last new show was Salt Lake City, which was 6 seasons ago. So it's been at least 6 years since a new one. And the energy around this one is so huge. Like you can feel it. Like I was trying to like be on social media, but I was like, I don't want any spoilers. I was like, wait. The show is so good. It's so lively.
So good.
And so we're really excited to talk about it.
We are.
I love it.
I usually wait the day after to watch everything on Peacock. Well, I have 800 streaming services, so and sometimes when it's on Peacock, you get. I mean, it will say like extended or something for an episode. It depends. So I usually wait. I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna wait. I need to watch this live in the moment. And like I was telling you, I've texted you about it. I've sent you memes about it, and I feel validated because I still see a lot of people talking about episode 1. That it feels like old school Housewives again. And I mean like late 2000, early 2010s era of Housewives. Like I felt such authenticity with the whole cast. Yeah, Salt Lake definitely had a lot of that for sure. But again, it's like that's 6 years ago at this point. It's not new anymore. It's not like the brand new car anymore. It's like, okay, we put a lot of miles onto that thing. But like thinking back on it, it's like, oh, this feels like that again. Of like, okay, we have a good new group of fresh women. Even though I'm an East Coast kid, I've never been to Rhode Island and I don't know too much about Rhode Island. And I love just seeing the backdrops. I love an East Coast city. So I heard beforehand, I think Andy Cohen was teasing that Rhode Island feels like Jersey, Real House of New Jersey. And he did not over exaggerate because exactly how I felt too. I'm obsessed with the accents and the women. And I just felt like a familiarity of like, again, that Italian culture, like East Coast Italian culture. Now, I feel like I've heard this now. Like, I watched like some TikTokers talk about this because Rhode Island is so small. Literally, it's you either, grow up together, you know each other, or it's like a 3 degrees of separation within Rhode Island. And so I don't understand that part of it because I'm from New York, but I don't know. I was just so fascinated instantly with everybody.
Yeah.
It was just so good.
So I was laughing because you told me that they were doing this show. You were like, oh, rumor has it they're recording this. And I was like, Rhode Island, though, a whole state. But then you watch it and they're going from Cranston to Providence to this place. And they're complaining about how far the drive is and it's 15 minutes.
I know.
But then I was like, oh, it literally is the whole state. Like they have people in all these different cities. They're bouncing through the whole state. So I was fascinated at the properties.
Yeah.
And then
oh my God.
I'm an Ohio girl, so I love a Great Lake. But I was like, oh shit, that's the ocean. To get on your boat and go to your friend's house, or I'll meet you at the bar. Let me get my boat off the dock. I was like, what must that feel like? That was so cool. Liz is so cool.
I know. I love her instantly. When she said to her husband, she's like, I'm going to take the dinghy. And I was like, I feel like I've heard that word before. And I was like, it's not like a boat. Like I was just like, before like we saw her get into that boat. I'm like, wait a minute. I think that's a boat. Is she going to drive a boat to the restaurant? And then there she was.
To go drink.
I was like, that is some badassery at its finest right there. Can you imagine? We all live in our coastal homes, and I meet you like for dinner, and I just drive my boat to a dock. Like what?
That's amazing.
I love it.
And to get the background on everybody, and they're just like, Alicia, this is her house, and you're like, oh my gosh, she's so funny. And then this person, and look at this, and then to see the husbands, right? Beverly Hills, there's not a lot of husbands. Salt Lake City, there's a few husbands, and it's either Todd or. And so I'm like, oh, I'm getting husbands, I'm getting kids, I'm getting, this is my cousin. The one, I guess it's Alicia's family that comes over and it's all the aunts and stuff. And I'm like, I'm getting extended family. Like, so I immediately felt like they were just welcoming me in. And I was like, yes, I am invested in knowing all the stories. Because to me, let me see it all and then decide if I trust you versus giving me little snippets. And I feel like they're pretty much open books. And I think because they keep talking about how small it is, you can't really lie because people are going to call you out. And I think that's why it's so like brazen, because they're just like, we all know. So let's just talk about it with the screens here.
I was watching a girl, and she lives in Rhode Island, and she was saying, she was talking about like the drive and how they were just like, oh my God, that gets us so far. And she said that's a real thing. She's like, being in Rhode Island, because of how small the state is geographically, to them, that is a very real thing for them. Because in my mind, I'm like, you kind of ask, like, okay, are they just being dramatic, whatever? Because, like, when I drive to work, it's about a 20-minute drive, and I did the same thing. I'm like, I just hate it. But I also cannot stand to drive. I don't want to go to drive down the street, depending on traffic.
We're doing that just to go to work, and they're... Right. I thought they were exaggerating, too. Okay, so they weren't.
And that's a real... I guess but that's like a very Rhode Island thing, as a girl said. She's like, that's not an exaggeration. That's very, like, that's what we say. And I guess that's the thing. I guess when you're living around, like, that is their long distance driving, which then makes you think, like, okay, what if they went on like a road trip? Would that just be torture for them? They're driving across the country.
They would just get in the boat and be like, let's just take the boat up to New York.
Yeah.
Because they said they played it so well, because they're in the car and they're like, this is so far. You need to pack a snack on the way.
Yeah.
And I'm like, ha, ha, ha.
They weren't kidding.
And then they're like 15 minutes. I was like, oh. For me, I really like the multiple generations, right? You got Liz, who's older, and then her friend, Dolores, and then you have Kelsey and who's the other one?
Rosie.
Ashley? Kelsey and Rosie, who are super young. And so you're just like, but they're all friends, and they're like, well, you slept with my brother's
I was just going to say,
and this and that, and that's how we know each other. And I was like, that's a real thing, too, where you're like, I'm friends with you because of high school, but then I knew your brother because he was there, too, and da-da-da.
What I love about it, it's, too, and especially for the first episode of the first season of The Real Housewives of Rhode Island, what I love about it is the production crew, whoever the production company is, I don't remember who, deserves a round of applause, because what is so great about it was a great introduction, as you mentioned, to each woman, but you also left that one episode feeling like we've known them as if they've been on TV for years. Like, you met Cohen individually, and then you realized when the episode was over, you're like, I feel like I've been watching them on TV for several. They seem like veterans in a way. So they've done a beautiful job of like introducing us and then quickly being able to do TV magic to make us feel as if we have known them, which is a true art, I have to imagine. Like, I cannot say that for every franchise or even like new women that have joined different housewife shows. Like, sometimes you could feel the inauthenticity of friendships when they bring different people on the show, or like, oh yeah, we're friends, and then you realize, oh, they had like a lunch prior to like coming on the show, and so they could have an introduction of like something like that. This is my friend so and so. To your point, they literally have roots somehow with each other. Whether it's like you said, like I like slept with this one's boyfriend while we were in high school. We grew up together. Like, our families know each other. Like, everyone is interconnected, and that's how you know you have a great cast.
Yeah, or you randomly have Rosie, and she's like, I know this person, but, you know, it'll be fun to meet everyone. Oh, but I was the weather girl or the traffic lady, so everyone in the state knows me. Who was it who's Miss Rhode Island? Is that Kelsey?
That was, Kelsey, yes. The one that has the boyfriend.
Then you have that, and so I'm fascinated by it, and it doesn't, I was going to say it doesn't feel fake, but I think it's stronger to say it feels so authentic, because they're just owning it. And she's like, I have this boyfriend and he takes care of me. So I'm listening to her story and I'm like, wow, she looks so good. Like, whatever is happening, she's well kept. I love it. And then she's like, I just turned 30. So what am I going to do? You've been a kept woman since you were 20. I was like, man, you can never get a job. Also, go start like 12 businesses with all this free time. But I was not expecting to find out that she is just now 30.
Again, this is what I mean. Like, right, very first episode, and we already know all her tea. I was like, well, okay, so her boyfriend lives part-time in Miami, and has other
whoever
girlfriends.
he is, because his face is blocked.
Well, I did find him.
Of course.
You want to know a fun story about him that I learned? So Dolores, who I love because she's on the Real Housewives of New Jersey, and she is coming back in a full-time capacity with Teresa and Melissa, and so I'm super excited.
Wait, the Dolores we saw?
Oh, yeah. She's a housewife. She's one of the Real Housewives of New Jersey. Yeah.
I thought it was funny when she was like, Jersey Shore, but I just thought she was being snarky.
Like this New Jersey of Ocean. She's like, do you remember that one phenomenal show that was on for like ever? So she is on the podcast that I listen to, He's in a Pod with Tamara and Teddy. Anyway, so Dolores is on, she like co-hosts that podcast with them. And so she was on talking about the Real Housewives of Rhode Island. And she said, I don't know how old it is, because when I saw it, I don't know if it was like recent or kind of just came on my FYP, but there was like this footage of a courtroom, and there was this elderly man who got I think it was like a parking ticket or something, because his son, who is disabled, he had to take him to the hospital. He needed to take him to the hospital, so he ended up getting a ticket, like a traffic ticket or something. And he went to court. You know, they do the whole thing, and she says, so that's why I'm understanding you're taking your disabled son who needed medical attention. Is that right? He's like, yeah. He's like, you're a stand-up father. I believe he was a veteran, the father. He like waived the whole fee. And I don't know if you've ever seen that story. I've seen that video circulate before. Well, that judge, his son is that guy.
Interesting.
Yeah. That's what Dolores said. So it's easy to find out who he is. So I have seen a picture of him since then because, of course, it's the internet. People already found him, which makes me wonder. It's like, hey, what was why did he want that? Because we are in 2026.
Because now we're so locked in on like, who is he? What is he? What is he doing?
Right.
How are you so comfortable with him being somewhere else for 5 months? And it added to it all the lack of shame, the lack of embarrassment, the openly owning, no, this is my life and this is how it's been. I've jokingly called myself a lady of leisure, but it's such an old school term. And so she said that, and I was like, yes, do it for the lady. Oh, but at 24, I was like, what would I be doing with money in a house and a full pool at 24? So she's definitely super mature, but I just was so fascinated by it, which shows how good the cast is. The driest story is The Bachelorette.
Yeah,
and she
I like
should
her,
be
though.
coming in with her own stuff, but you're just like, but that was your exciting thing that you were on TV? Because everybody else, I'm the queen of weed, or I'm the this, or I'm that, or Joe Ellen. I loved all her little snippets. God. Yeah. And she's like, people think that I'm a bitch, but I'm not really a bitch. You know what I mean? But basically I am. But then you find out that she slept with like all these people. But then her dynamic with her husband is so unique. And so these ladies are so open with us, because I'm like, I've learned so much about them from just these couple of clips. And so, but I think because the state is so small and everyone knows each other, you literally cannot shame them. And I've never seen a cast like this where I'm just like, this is going to be fun for them to basically share the stories with us.
Yeah. Well, that's what Dolores said. That's something that Dolores said. It's funny you say that, because she said while they were filming, she said she overheard the producers say, like, do they not realize that we're filming them? Meaning they just laid it all out there. I guess they didn't hold anything back. And that's how you know, I'm like, okay, we're in for not just a treat, but a great wild ride, because they're just themselves. I think that's how you know that you have a good group of women that just really gel with each other.
And they're already talking about plastic surgery and Botox. And so that means they're not going to completely change their looks once they get popular in 3 seasons.
I mean, it takes guts to quickly talk about, okay, who I've slept with in this group's husbands, brothers, or whatever, and say things like, yeah, I have a boyfriend who has other girlfriends in other states, and, you know, I just live in his home. And, like, you know, like, that takes balls to say it with your full chest. Because I think the natural thing for some people to do would be like, okay, if I have to talk about this, you know, how much detail do I have to say without saying too little or too much? You know what I mean? Like, they're like, no, like, well, this is my life. So, I mean, either take it or leave it. I'm like, okay, these are some bad bitches right here.
They are, because I was so dialed in with Alicia's story and her little daughter. She's like my mini me. And I was like, oh my gosh, I love to see it. And it's like Alicia's fiance. I was like, oh, that's so cute. Look at them.
9 years.
And then you find out that the baby is by him. In your mind, you just said, I said stepdad. And then she's like, 9 years, but we don't know why. So now I'm like, I love a non-traditional wife. I'm like, you just didn't want to? You just want your own freedom? You wanted to keep your last name? Tell me more. Like, so now, even that story, I'm like, what's the backstory, though? Because they are clearly okay with it. He knows the whole family.
Yeah. From what we know now, who do you think that you're going to like the most, and who do you think you're going to like the least?
So, I'm going to give you two.
Okay.
Who do I like the most? Liz. Absolutely.
Same.
But I think on the show, I'm going to like Joellen the most because that bitch has done some shit. And I think we are going to hear all about it. And even for her to say, if you tell me something, of course it's secret. I only tell my one best friend and then my other best friend. And then they're the other. I can just see them leaving a dinner or whatever and just doing a 3-time FaceTime call and talking shit for hours. Now, I do think she's going to be in some mess. But I think on the show, she's going to be my absolute favorite. But I really like Liz because she's so ballsy. I think her outfit is so, like, she doesn't give Rhode Island to me in that even when she went to the 4th of July party, her outfit is like, it's so different than everyone else. So she is fascinating to me. And when I say by like, go get a beer with her because I think she would be absolutely amazing. But Joellen, I can't wait to watch her on TV. Yes.
Yeah.
Who would I like the least? Rosie. Rosie is so irritating. I'm like, ma'am. I'm like, are you jealous of Kelsey? What's the deal? Because we see your husband, but Rosie, absolutely the least. But she also reminds me of a lot of people that we used to work with. And so I'm just like, I've seen that before.
I didn't think that. So you just said that. And now I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
We worked with a lot of Rosies.
Yeah, we did. And it's okay. I have Rosie moments in me. Well, okay, maybe now that I think about it, because I like where she says, I have questions. And of course I have follow-up questions. I'm a reporter. Maybe I'm the most similar to Rosie because I'm a curious girl and I want to know the backstory. And if you tell me something and look away, I'm like, well, what was that look? So maybe that's some like, oh, I could see that in her. Wait, is Rosie the one that goes and works out with Alicia?
Yes, I was like,
and she's like,
I don't know what those were.
She's so loyal. She's so Rosie is me. Okay.
So you like yourself the least.
Because I think on TV, it's going to be like, it's giving the National Enquirer, but I just want to know. I just want to know.
Yeah,
so
she is inquisitive.
We just got to see how her dynamic fits.
Right.
Because we know Alicia's in the mix, and she kind of is talking to a bunch of people. And then Rosie is kind of giving friend of a little bit. So I just kind of want to see a little bit more. I want to see a little bit more.
I love that. I love
What about you? Who do you like the most and the least? And who do you want to watch on TV the most and the least?
I know, I love that spin. Definitely, I'm going to agree with you on one of yours first, and that is I loved Liz. I just think she's a badass, strong woman. I feel like they are already building her to be almost like the matriarch of the show. I feel like whether it's intentional or not, I don't know if this is part of the makeup of the show, but there always seems to be someone that's kind of pushed to be the star. They're an ensemble cast, but there's always one that stands out a little more that does, like, when you think of the show, you often think of blank. Beverly Hills, whether people want to agree or not, it's Kyle. Salt Lake, on Salt Lake, it's been Heather, though season 1, and I would say maybe even season 2, it was quite clear that Jen Shaw was that girl. So this dynamic can change. Granted, she went to federal prison, did horrible things, but still can change. Jersey, Teresa, New York, Bethany, like every city kind of has that. And I think Liz will be that for this show. I can just kind of feel it now. But I agree with you. I just think, I fell in love with her, and she said that they own a dispensary, and I guess they're like the first in the state to do it. And I'm like, okay, I'm already seated, I'm listening. And I just feel like she's gonna have that, like, you don't want to fuck with her, but you also want to go with. She's gonna tell you like it is, and you want advice from her, like. if you know, like, my life sucks, you know, I'm going to talk to you about this. I'm going to go talk to Liz. So I love her. Who I like the least, I'm saying this with a question mark because I'm not too sure yet. I feel like I'm going to like Joellen the least because I think to what you said, and the flip side to what you said, I think she's going to get messy in a way that it's going to piss me off, or like I'm going to like, oh, she's just such a. I can hear all the things I'm already going to be saying about if what I'm predicting is true. I can see her irritating me because she might be too messy in the way that's like just slightly irritates me outside the bounds of like good housewifery.
Yeah.
Because while I thought it was funny, I kind of disagreed with that statement of like, if you tell me not to tell anybody, I'm going to tell my best friends, and if they tell somebody, that's on them, not me. And I'm the type of person I'm like that's not true. If I told one of my best friends, I said, please don't tell anybody, this is very like personal, whatever, and then they told two other loudmouths, I would be I'm not going to be pissed with them. I'm going to be pissed with my best friend.
Yeah.
So like, it's things like that, and I'm like, I mean, it's whatever. Does it keep you up at night? No. So I'm
good for TV,
that.
but you don't want
I
it
know.
in
I
real
guess
life.
maybe that could be the same answer because I feel like I'm going to also enjoy watching her, though. But I also think I'm going to enjoy watching Rosie, too. Because out of the gate there, those two are going at it a little bit. And it seems as if, at least from this episode, with the whole Kelsey thing, because I kind of, and I've heard this from this little rumblings of different like podcasts and clips and stuff. I'm not saying I fully agreed with her approach and like questioning Kelsey's life, but I certainly didn't disagree. I'm like, I don't think she did really anything wrong. I'm like, the only reason why Kelsey's name was up in that conversation when they were at that little picnic thing was because Joella, she talked about her situation just enough where if you are a nosy bitch, like I kind of am, and just like you, like I am Rosie in that way. I'm like, no, I want to know the tea. Like, if you're gonna give me an inch, I'm not ashamed to say I'm gonna take a mile sometimes. Like I'm like, wait a minute, if I'm already inherently curious and you play it out there, I sometimes take that as a cue. Like, oh, we can talk about this. Okay, I'm gonna put my feelers out there because I would have done that too. I'm gonna be completely honest with you, right, wrong, or indifferent. So I think I'm gonna also enjoy watching Rosie on the show.
Yeah.
It depends. It depends on, will it be too much? Will it be, because I almost feel like maybe they're setting her up to be kind of the villain of the show already. I'm wondering, you know what I mean? I'm trying to like feel out like, okay, what is everyone's kind of like place going to be in the show? So I feel like she could play that already.
But remember before her party, and she's getting her makeup done, and her husband comes in, and she's like, they're going over his outfit together. So I kind of think she's the gossiper because she's just a control freak.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's what we're going to, she just wants to know, she just wants to have the dirt on everyone to know that I have you. And I think she knows if she gave Rosie a snippet, Rosie would go in for it. So I think she plays to people in a way that will be very, very entertaining.
I was going to say, I tell you who I think will annoy me is I do think Kelsey's going to annoy me. While I find her story so far compelling, so as it stands, which is not very much because it's only been one episode, even how she's going about at the barbecue, the 4th of July barbecue, with her being, oh, I came up, what did Rosie say? Like this whole like grandiose thing. I'm like, bitch, it was not that big of a deal. You're doing a little too much for what it is. It's not like she said that you killed your dog. She was questioning like what the fuck your situation is and why is that? Because it's fucking fascinating, girl. Like you don't think that because you got a man that has other chicks on the side in different cities, you don't think that people are gonna talk about that in your small ass state? We all are. If I already have that background knowledge and someone just happens to bring up like Kelsey's going through a lot, oh, okay, that's all I needed to hear. Let's talk about it. Like it's like you're that surprised. Just own it. Like I just go to like.
Yeah, the weird thing is, I've heard of people and know people, and they definitely date multiple people and ethical, non-monogamous, and all of it. But they're not in their 20s. Usually, when you're in your 20s, you're with another 20-year-old, and you guys are just fucking around. True. And it's just a thing.
Like hook up or whatever, yeah.
So when she says she meets this guy when she's 19, and I'm just like, okay, cool. And then we find out that Liz is like, oh yeah, I know him because I used to date him, or we were in the same circle of dating. I'm like, so he's clearly going to be in his 50s
Mm-hmm.
So it's not about being, I'm just like, there are just very few 20-year-olds that I know who would agree to that.
Yeah. It's one thing,
Immediately.
yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree with you because it's
So
one thing to
that's the
be like,
fascinating part.
oh,
Yeah.
that's what I mean. Like, that's what I want to tell her. But like, Kelsey, your life is, your whatever your situation is, you must acknowledge that that is very salacious. Whether you think, whether it's anyone's business or not. I hate using the word normal, but if I go to work, someone's saying to me like, Dominic, guess what? What? Mary on the third floor. This is all, I'm making this up. So if I work with you, I don't even know if there was a Mary actually there is a Mary on the third floor in an area. And this is not about her. For your
Just
example,
use my
disclaimer.
name.
Yeah.
Just use my name.
Okay. If someone came to me and said, Kyla, yeah, she's like, I'd be like, oh, I mean, I know her, but I don't know her. She's got a man. Okay. Well, apparently her man, she sees him part time, lives in his home, but he's got other chicks on the side, and he helps fund her life.
And
I'd be
made me
like,
Miss Ohio.
and that's right. I'd be like, tell me more. And then if I go and meet someone who happens to bring your name up, even if it's not detailed, but just insinuates like, oh, Kyla, she's going through a lot. My nosy ass, if I hear that, I'm obviously going to go, okay, well, I heard this. Is this true? Does that make me a gossip? Maybe it is. Maybe that's me. Maybe I need to do some deep self reflection on that. I'm not harmful by any means, but I guess my point being, it's like your life sounds very intriguing. So clearly, if you're talking about it on the show, you don't mind talking about it. So this whole grandiose thing, like you're like, so what did she say? And now you have to go approach her. I'd be like, I would go to Rosie and be like, hey, bitch, like, I heard you had a few questions. What can I answer for you? That's how I would approach that. But she's like
that's
being like a
how you would
crybaby.
approach it at 36 years old.
Fair. That's a good point. I probably would
She
be
just
messier than
turned
if I was
30.
younger. I'd be
You probably
messier.
would have, but I'm still so fascinated. And I think it's just
Yeah.
playing to the whole story.
True.
So I've been thinking about this because I like Alicia. I like how she's kind of in the middle and has the multiple relationships. And even though it's Joellen's party, she's like, oh, but Rosie's my friend. So I'll be the one that go meets her and brings her in and all of the stuff. And then, okay, I'm thinking back to watching the trailer. There's someone called Rula or Rella who we haven't seen yet. Okay. So I just think they are all so diverse. I like that some of them are working. Joellen brags about the fact she's like, I wanted to have my own money. I wanted to keep working.
Would love that.
And pharmaceutical sales is not, and trainings is not like simple and easy. We know that, the queen of weed, Liz is
love
doing
that.
stuff.
Entrepreneur. We love a woman
like
owns her own business.
I don't remember what she said, but I feel like she does.
Oh, she does something. You're right. I can't remember what it was. Not real estate. Was it real estate? No.
It might be.
Alicia.
So it's something like that. It's something pretty like
she owns that pizza restaurant
with Gary. Yes.
Yes.
And so then the poor bachelorette. What's her name?
Ashley.
That's Ashley.
I do like her. She, we haven't mentioned her at all. She seems very sweet. Her husband is so hot.
Listen, that's my one note. I was like, when she's talking to him and he's like, I just want you to want more. And I'm just staring at him like, is this bar open now? Can we?
It is.
Dom, are we going to Rhode Island this summer?
Girl, we gotta go we're gonna take a vacation. My friend at work, she's a big fan of like Survivor, Bachelor, all the Big Brother, all those shows. So she knows her and him, and I guess they met on Bachelor in Paradise thing because apparently the lore with her is her crying is a big thing. Oh, for lack of a better term, I guess that's part of her. She's a crier.
So wait, Bachelor in Paradise, he's famous as well, or he was one of the people trying to get her attention?
They were each contestants on the shows, the relative shows, and then they have been on Bachelor in Paradise, those spinoff shows, and that's how they met. Yeah, but apparently, my friend who knows said when they were in Bachelor in Paradise, they started like hooking up or they're interested in each other, but then he started like being more interested in another girl, so they cut it off, and then I guess she started crying, and that's how that whole phenomenon started with her crying. She started dating another guy, which to him, I guess, he was like, oh, hold on, she's with somebody else. Oh, no. And then that's how their love affair started. And
like so many do.
Like, I know I can relate so much to that.
No, I mean, that's like in every movie. You make the
you mean
person
like,
jealous, and then they're like, yeah, no, I really did want you. I don't want anyone else to touch you. Yeah.
Well, I did not mean that. But
Oh,
that I
okay.
can definitely, no. but what you just said, that sadly I can relate to, but a love affair did not spiral into the universe. She seems very lovable. She's gonna be I feel like she's gonna be the lovable one of the season. Though I did think it was funny that she was like at the coffee bar, like on her computer, like, taking off her nails. Let's just focus on that for a second. I'm like, do people just do that? And
in Virginia, because I was like, who does that anywhere? But then I was like, she's from Virginia. She's from Virginia. Because she was like, I've never met anyone that loves their state as much as Rhode Island. I was like, you've never been to Ohio.
I was, that is
I was
so
like,
funny.
what are you talking about?
I thought the same thing. I'm like, girl, come here in the fall during Ohio State football season, and then you're going to see some state pride
tattooed on me. I was like,
but it was funny. She's like talking to him like emotional things, and he's like looking at her, and he'll like Bob like with a drink. I just thought it was the cut was just so funny to me.
And then she's like, I'm just thinking about you and what you can have all day. And he's like, I don't want you to do that. And I'm like, bitch, you need a hobby. You need to connect with Liz, and she needs to be like, you need a hobby. You need something outside of, because the thing is, as sweet as she is, she's going to be the one that has the kid, and then that's her whole life, and that's not good either. So it's like, girl, get yourself a hobby.
Don't they have two kids?
Influencer.
Don't they have two kids?
Do they?
Yeah, they have two kids.
I couldn't tell because I can't tell their age, but he
is so hot.
You can leave your socks all over the floor.
You can do whatever you want. You can pour that hot ass espresso on my body.
Please, eat crackers in bed.
You can do whatever, and I'll clean it up. I'll be a doting wife. I get it.
So wait, I don't remember. Is he from Rhode Island? Is that why they're back there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's from Rhode Island.
And that's like every Hallmark movie. The super hot guy is from this random place where you never see them.
Yeah, literally. And then she goes, I'm like, I guess I'm moving to Rhode Island. Yeah.
So she's like, I want more. And he's like, but I'm back home. We're not going anywhere. Okay.
Yeah. You know what? Maybe it's some form of single privilege, childless privilege. I don't know. Full disclaimer, we know this. Kyla's a mom and a wife. So I'm not putting her in this because here's the thing. Actually, I wish a lot more people were like you in this way, that you talk about your daughter a lot. And I generally enjoy hearing about that, but you don't make it. I don't know if this is going to sound, I don't mean this to sound rude. Maybe it's I don't know another word. It's a part of you, but it's not your total identity as being, you are many layers. You're not just a mom. You're not just, you are a very layered individual. I think there are some parents, both men and women, that they make their only identity a parent. I'm not saying Rachel's always like that.
Married becomes their whole identity.
Or being married.
No, I work very hard to make sure it doesn't. I want it to be like a small segment of my life because it's not fair to them either. Because anything happens to them, well, who am I?
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even thought about that.
Jo Ellen, to be so she's not flippant, but she's very carefree. I was going to say loose, but it was going to be like a double entendre. But then she's this parent, but then she's picking her husband's clothes. There's going to be, it's going to be a very interesting dynamic of her controlling just enough because the rest of it is really loose. Like it's going to be very.
Well, also too, what that's in terms of that. I don't want to make the assumption, but I'm pretty sure they all are. Point being, Italian moms are a whole nother thing. Italian parents are a whole nother thing. So I can't wait to see, like, are some going to be more old school? I think Alicia feels a little more old school Italian-ish. Liz, for sure, kind of does. But those are her stepchildren, I believe. I don't think they're her biological children. Not that I'm not insinuating anything, but point being, there's a difference between, like, Italian moms and, like a Midwest mom. So like I look forward to seeing like how they parent and do they embrace like a new age of like parenting, or is it going to be old school? Like, I do look forward to that because it is interesting to see how different people parent. Again, maybe this is my single childless privilege. You just don't want to. It's like I know that it's a part of people's lives and it deserves attention. And listen, you take care of human beings. There's a reason I don't want children So when I say it's privilege, I truly mean that, because I'm like, I know my daughter has 4 legs and fur, and that's all I can take. So I don't underestimate the power of parenting. However, if you don't have kids, you don't always want to hear about it all the time. You don't want that. You don't want that to be the person's, what you said, their only identity. Like, that's not interesting. And that's all you have.
The same with being married too. There's so many people, and it's
that's true.
Who were you before you were married then?
Yeah.
Your whole
oh my God.
entire identity
Totally.
is this. Look, kudos to you for keeping yourself alive, you and Lucy, because things that I feel like should have just been easy for us are just so much more complicated now and more expensive, and like
all of it.
I mean, thank God for Mel Robbins telling us to just post what you want to post for your page. Because if you sat down and thought, well, Jesse Jackson died yesterday, so I can't post this and I can't post that, and then so you could do nothing. You could do nothing, and it's just like, sorry y'all, but this one thing that I do every morning makes me happy, so I'm going to post my videos.
Well, exactly. I think that's the sentiment, right?
I can't say anything else about it.
Well, that's what I talked to you about that. I said before we started recording, I was telling you, I'm like, I'm a very political person. I'm very active in like forms of activism and showing up and being like, we all need to know every single detail and be consumed by it, because if we don't, and then I get so pissed off at people that I'm like, why are they can post this, but they can't say one thing about that. Like, I was becoming one of those people until I reached my breaking point, and I had a moment where I'm like, I get it now. It does not mean someone's not doing anything. I think people should speak up, and that can look different for different people, right? But my point being is, for several weeks, I wasn't posting anything political. I was just posting funny things, because those things made me happy. What you're saying, I totally understand. That might be the one bright part about your day, and we can't make any assumptions about anything else other than that. So let people have their fucking thing, whatever that is for them. As long as it's not hurting people or being mean or putting negativity in the world, let people do what they need to do.
Yeah. And I think, to wrap it or bring it back to the Housewives, I never watched the show, so I just assumed they were filming real time. Like, I wouldn't have thought in April they would show us an episode from July and actively say this is July 4th. So
interesting. Okay. Yeah.
Because why would I be interested in that? That was last July. But it's like, oh, I didn't know people were doing that in July. Who's eating caviar and a hot dog, and who's doing this? So I would have never really known. And like,
that's interesting.
I think it's fascinating to see how other people live. Like, it's
I think it's part of it. At least this is why this became what it did. It's it has fun quirks like drama and fights, all this kind of stuff. The main thing is obviously conflict and resolution, but it was birthed from a space of like, wow, you have these affluent women living their lives, and it is very interesting to see for people, especially think about like all the way in 2006. Reality TV wasn't the norm. It's like you had a handful of shows at most, maybe, of reality TV. And there's something interesting about like, we're just going to watch rich people live. Okay. I think the broader statement is like what you just said. There is something fascinating to watch people live life that is very much different than yours. And what's great about that is it's not just people that have these affluent lives. It is, you see people, no matter how much money is in their bank account, you're seeing hopefully the different layers that make them who they are. And I thought it was really funny too, because again, I've never been to Rhode Island. I only know, I don't really know anything much about Rhode Island besides it being small. I thought it was really interesting because she said, I think it was Ashley saying like, everyone knows each other here. So if you're like new here, everyone's like, who are you? Like, you're get questioned. I thought that was really interesting. I'm like, obviously it's probably a bit dramatic, but I can kind of see that. I'm like, if
that's a real thing, I'm sure.
Right. Like, I feel like that is a real thing.
Rhode Island, even think about different places you've been.
Yeah,
when I
like
moved to
towns.
Louisiana for law school, they were like, you even walk fast. They're like, you talk fast, you walk fast.
Really?
You are not from here. And I'm like, no, I'm a Yankee. I am like north of the Mason-Dixon line. Well, even I've tried to go to a football game, and I was like, where can I go buy a jersey? They wear polos and like skirts and shit. And I was just like, we're not painting our faces? I was like, okay. So it is is a very different thing.
I guess that's
when
true.
you go to different places, it is very, very different.
And I guess, if you're not from the area, you can stand out easily.
But she just needs to be like, oh, my husband is so-and-so, the Rhode Island bachelor or whatever. She could spin it.
She can spin
I just think, okay, for the last 40 minutes, you and I have been chatting about them like we have, like this is season 4. They are doing a great job.
Great job.
And for me, I'm so excited because I've never watched a show live when it was coming out. I'm not going to change all of my rules, but this is kind of fun to kind of get in and see it because we started with Salt Lake City, which was in their 6th season, and now we're doing Beverly Hills in their 15th season. So this to jump to first season, first franchise, probably the first time they're covering a whole state is very, very different. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
But it's fun.
Yeah, it is fun because it's funny you say that because my friend at work, someone that loves The Bachelor and all that, but she got into it later, not because she's doing a podcast about watching things, but just, she got to the Housewives fandom later, and she said the same thing of like, it's so cool because this is the first time I'm watching a show where we're all in the same playing field with the cast, and I'm like, it is really cool. It is, because that's how I remember feeling that way with, all of them, because I've been a fan over 20 years now. Like
more than half of your life. That's crazy.
I know, isn't that? I literally remember being in high school, and I didn't even know. And this is how it's a phenomenon, I suppose. Because I remember going home in high school. I think was it 2006 is when The Real Housewives of Orange County premiered. So 16. I could not wait to watch Real Housewives of Orange County. And remember, Housewives in its very early days, those first couple of seasons of Real Housewives of Orange County were not what everyone perceives housewives to be. It was very just these rich women living life. There was no screaming matches, no drama. The biggest drama was either within their little families or something, or it was nothing. The kids were heavily featured. Kids had their own confessionals. Confessionals were also, they had I can't remember what they were called, but some of the people from those days called them. They had in the moment confessionals. So instead of just sitting down with the backdrop, they also had them if there was a dinner party or something, they would do in the moment confessionals where you'd be outside the restaurant and they would be doing a confessional with you. It was so different then. There wasn't the gravitas that we know it to be. And I was so enamored that I could not wait to watch it, just because then there's just watching them live life. But I guess when you think about 20 years ago, reality TV was a much different beast than it is now. So it was in very many ways, it was still early in the reality TV era that it was just wild that so wait a minute. People just have cameras following people, watching them just do everyday things. That makes me feel fucking old to think wow, that was salacious TV at the time. Wait, what? What did they do? They
but
have a camera following them? It's just wild to think that. But there was a time when, in our lifetime, when that just seemed like a very odd thing.
It's still odd now. People still look at you crazy when you post on social, and you're just this is a whole industry. You realize people are making tons of money from it, but it's still an us and them. It's no, but they're on TV. You're just someone I work with. It's no, but so
and now it leads to bigger and better things.
Yes. Okay, so new series, new franchise. Is it so much fun because they're new and we don't know in 3 years so-and-so splits from so-and-so and da-da-da-da-da? Is it literally a fresh blanket, so to speak? Or is it, congratulations, Andy, you found some magic? Or a combination of both?
I was going to say, probably both. I think definitely a congratulations because the Real Housewives of Dubai, which has since been paused, canceled, whatever you want to call it, did come after Salt Lake City. And it wasn't, so if you're just listening to this and not seeing on camera, I'm just shrugging because I'm it wasn't bad, but it wasn't good either. It could have been. And I think there's a lot of reasons why they just stopped it. It was, apparently from what I understand, it was extremely expensive to film because it's Dubai, you're very far away and they have very strict laws, and I guess it's not easy just to film a show with cameras running around the city of Dubai. So, and then the chemistry didn't feel there. as much as other casts and other franchises. And that's the only international franchise that's under the Bravo umbrella. There are several other franchises, but they are licensed out. So they just license the Real Housewives name, but they're not associated with Bravo whatsoever. They're okay. But point being, I would say it didn't feel like it gelled. So I do think credit where credit's due with finding a cast of women where it does work, whatever that might look like. And then I think, I mean, it is. It feels like the warm blanket of the dryer. Like, this feels so good because we are witnessing maybe a phenomenon. Who knows? Maybe there'll be the next Salt Lake City, maybe be even better. Who knows? Again, 20 years of Housewives. We have several franchises across the United States, right? And even some areas of the United States have not been touched, like the Midwest, the Pacific Northwest, like New England.
Chicago, I could see a Chicago.
Right. From my understanding, like reading certain things, they've tried casting in Chicago and they just, and maybe this is a good thing, they just haven't found the right cast. That rumor has been out there for so long. So I guess my point being, though, it's how much can you reinvent the wheel at this point? You know, like we know what Housewives is. It's hard to meet women, whether young or older, who don't know what Housewives is. There was a time when you could be approached to join the show and you're like, what show is it? Like, how does this work? You didn't watch it and you didn't know about it. Maybe when there was just like 2 or 3 franchises on, now there's several. Everyone knows what Real Housewives is, whether they watch it or not. But and if you don't watch it, usually you've heard, and usually it's a negative feeling. Like I remember my former boss, when we worked together, I made that joke. I'm like, would you ever do Housewives? She was like, oh God, no, I don't like any of that stuff. But she didn't watch Housewives. And that's a normal thing for people who are, at least women, let's say, that are not Housewives fans, but they know it, but they think it's just a bunch of drama, women fighting, which
we know of it, but haven't watched it.
Exactly. So that makes it hard because when you are trying to either cast for a new show or cast for a new season of a franchise, you want it to be an authentic addition, but you don't want to find someone who's been studying the show, i.e. Amanda Francis, where it comes off like, ugh, it's like, no, they just wanted to be on the show so bad. So they studied the show. It sounds like they're the, like if this is school, they're the kid in the front row raising their hand, like with every, like, pick me, pick me. And no one wants to watch that. That presents maybe a newer challenge of like trying to find people who are open to joining this kind of show. There's nothing wrong with watching it because you can't avoid that now, but you can still watch it and be a fan of it without being a fan, if that makes sense. Like you don't want that to be like take away from your ability to connect with the women on the show and then hopefully like the audience watching and to present yourself in an authentic manner. So I think it is an accomplishment when you're able to do that and have authentic women on the show with real friendships or at least real connections. That deserves a round of applause. So I think both of those things can be both true. Like, yeah, you have a great cast, and this is all brand new, and it's like, okay, well, I guess we're all going to get a crash course in what it is like to be living in Rhode Island and be rich. Yeah. So I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm here for it.
I'm excited too. Even as you were speaking, I was thinking, I'm like, well, it's more than like casting for a scripted show. Because you have to find, like, let's say you do casting, and I start to see those things all the time. We're hiring for an entrepreneur show. We're hiring for this.
Yeah,
we're hiring
same.
for that. But if I'm on a Housewives, you have to choose me, and then I have to have at least 5 or 4 other people who are willing to come on and talk or be included or be around it. It's not really... Because if it's me and then, I jumped to someone I went to school with a couple years ago that we emailed, the connection's not going to be there, to your point. So you're kind of like, hey, friends, are we willing to open up our lives?
Right. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And I think, too, again, this can present a challenge. It's like, okay, say we see a casting call, like, okay, we need, like, interesting people in Ohio. Okay, maybe me and you are friends. Like, okay, let's try out. They're like, okay, we like your friendship. Then maybe they hire another group of 2 friends, a little duo over there, but we don't know them. Now, that presents a problem. Like, yeah, we have an authentic connection, but we don't know them. Maybe in Rhode Island, it's a little easier because everyone knows each other, but Beverly Hills, New York, LA, they are massive. Yeah. I think maybe like in New York would be easy. I could see the total opposite of like, it is so large, and to find people who are comfortable, authentically comfortable being on the show and being able to be okay with what it means to say, like, I'm going to be on the Real Housewives, because there's a lot, because think about it, and I've heard this from New York and Beverly Hills specifically, that it's really hard to cast because they're like, you're not going to get the real socialites. They're not going to be, they don't need this kind of shit. Going back to like the tryhards and the pick-me's that you don't want on, you do want the people who don't need the show because they have nothing to lose. So they'll put it all out there. If you have someone like an Amanda Francis that want, like, I want to go on and talk about my bullshit business and this image and that and this, it's like you are insufferable because you're trying hard on every angle to want to do this. Whereas the best housewives have always been the ones, they don't need the show. Rachel's, though, does not need Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She's just there to be herself, and she doesn't need the paycheck. She makes a boatload of money with her very successful business that existed way before Housewives. So in a New York, think about that. Like, well, you have to find a group of people that all know each other to some degree or have connections, whatever, that all equally want to do the show.
Yeah.
That I can actually see being a big challenge.
Man. Well, kudos to you, Andy Cohen, because this is so good. It's really, really good. It's really good. So if you think back, have you seen Liz on any of the New Jersey episodes? If you're like, did she make a cameo? Have I seen her?
I was thinking about that. I don't think so, because I think her and Dolores, I don't know how long they've been friends. It seems as if it hasn't been too terribly long. They are, Dolores did say that they are like best friends. And New Jersey has been on a hiatus for a couple of years now, so I don't think so. I'd be curious now just to go back. Like, was she on maybe the last season? But I don't think so, because I don't think Dolores hosted anything that would make sense. I don't know. I don't think so, but it makes me wonder. Well, Dolores more than likely will be the first housewife to exist on two shows at the same exact time. She'll be a friend of on Rhode Island and full time on Jersey. So who's to say that Liz might not pop in on New Jersey at like a party or something and either be in the background or something? So that would be kind of cool.
I think this whole thing is fascinating. Who is it who says, hey, Andy, Rhode Island could happen? Because when you told me this, I was like, and there's no Ohio? But to what we just discussed here, that would be too hard because, I mean, it's at least 6 hours to go all the way through Ohio, probably more like 7. So you would have to choose a city. It wouldn't be the whole state. And then it would, again, have to be a group of people who want to be public. So it's not just, how did he skip over us? There's a lot of stuff to it. So
I think I'm going through my mind just to make sure, and this is accurate, the only other one that state is the Real Housewives of New Jersey. Everything else is a city or like Potomac. Not all the women live in Potomac. They live in the DMV area.
Yeah.
I will say, I'm looking at a list here. These are cities that have formerly been scouted or cast by Bravo for the Real Housewives. Chicago. So again, this one has been this is the one that comes up a lot. Rumors of a Chicago series persisted as recently as May 2025 after a group of women were spotted filming at a Cubs game. Houston, Texas. Producers were seen screen testing in Houston. San Francisco, California. Bravo has cast in San Francisco, but found the ecosystem didn't fit in the franchise's typical mold. And this one is interesting. Greenwich, Connecticut. This was another location where a pilot was pursued, but producers reportedly struggled to find a cast willing to be flashy. As many as old money families are in the area. And then other rumored or pitched locations have been Las Vegas, Nashville, New Orleans, and Scottsdale, Arizona.
New Orleans would be fascinating. It's a very, very different place.
Scottsdale, I think Nashville too.
Nashville would be fun because you would get a big mix and you get a lot of hiking and a lot of money. I feel like a Philly, Westchester, Pennsylvania would be interesting. Of course, I would love a Midwest one, but then of course I would roll my eyes at it like, oh, that's so us, because there's a lot of Midwestern things that we do. I would love to see a Seattle.
I thought that too.
I would love to see that.
I think that one
Houston would be hard. Houston is gigantic. Real Housewives of Austin, Texas, maybe. Houston,
I could see that.
I don't know.
Well, this one says recent casting rumors between 2025 and 2026. An early 2025 report surfaced that Bravo was scouting Seattle alongside Rhode Island. Insiders claim that local party planners were organizing events for women reportedly filming test scenes for potential Real Housewives of Seattle. I love that. Well, you know what? You never know. That should be. We should have a bet on that. It's like, what do you think could be the next one?
I'm so excited. I am really excited.
We're here for you, Rhode Island. We're fans.
That book that you really like, and you're like, oh, I gotta go to sleep.
I can't stop putting it down
tomorrow.
That was me last week. I was up till 2 a.m. reading my book. I'm currently on. I was like, I can't keep doing this, but I just like just one more chapter.
That's cute though. Everyone here is coupled up too, so that's a different dynamic.
Yeah, I do love that. I do love that. I mean, because we talked about it last week. That episode, that article that came out by The Cut of like now the norm has become they're divorced or just single.
But it's just fun because you immediately get another character. So
true. That's true.
It's good. It's good. So.
That's good.
All right, you guys. This was fun. We will talk to you later.
Bye. That's so true. They have lives too.
I have to pee so bad. I'm so sorry. We can still wrap this. I just have to.
You have to keep that in.
I'll be back. Hold on.
Oh my god, that's so funny. You literally said you had to pee. I was like, oh wait, I think I have to pee now too.
Well, I'm sitting here, I'm like shaking, and I was like, Kyla, let him talk, and then you don't say anything.
Oh my god.
And then, but then I'm like, but you know you're gonna keep talking to him, and then you're gonna pee on yourself.
You are so funny. You have to keep that in.
I will. But you were saying, and I appreciate that.